This podcast contains paid advertisements, but more on that later. Welcome to the O'Connor Bootstrap podcast, where I discuss how you can grow your business by the bootstraps. This applies to all entrepreneurs, from the person just starting up to the one that is already well established. My goal is to help you grow. I am your host, Isaiah O'Connor. Okay, welcome back, and let's jump into this. So today's sponsor is Audible. Audible.com is the world's largest repository of audiobooks. All you do is you can go there and you can pick any Audible audiobook you want from their selection and buy it and download it. You can do that, or you can do their subscription service, which I highly recommend. It's only $14.99 a month. You get one book a month. You get 2 Audible originals where content creators make and create books and old school radio series for Audible. Really nice. You get one audiobook and then 2 Audible originals every single month for $14.99. You keep them forever. They're yours to keep. You can return the books. You can exchange the books within a certain amount of time, of course. And it's an amazing way to go. And you keep, again, the books, even if you have the subscription or not. Check them out. If you click on the link, it helps us out, it helps them out, and you get to enjoy a book. Oh, and the first 30 days is a free trial, so you can pick any book you want, any 2 Audible originals you want. Pick them, try it. If you like it, keep the subscription. If you don't like it, you keep the book. Doesn't matter. It's a great deal. Check them out. Now, today I'm going to talk about Radio Shack again, but I'm not going to be ripping them up. Today, I'm going to talk about some of the good things I learned and some of the good things they did. I mean, Radio Shack did survive for nearly 90 years for some reason that they did something right just to get going. And my experience in Radio Shack was varied. I worked for some great people. I worked for some horrible people. I worked for some okay people. I worked there for almost 3 years, 2.5 years as an assistant manager. And there was some things I was very impressed with. The problem with Radio Shack, as I described in the previous one, they had a lot of corporate problems with direction and all that other stuff that was on a corporate level of where the direction was, how they're going to run the company, all that good stuff. But what Radio Shack excelled in, and from what I hear was even better at before I came, was in their training, and their basic sales process was really, really good. Their customer service training, their sales training, and their overall training on electronics and the bits and pieces and parts and everything else. That was some really good training. While I was there, I personally did about 80 or 90 training courses. When they released a new item, they would send you a training and you'd be able to sit down and train and learn that item so you could really help the customer out with that. So that was some really nice training. Their sales training is still to this day one of the best sales processes I've seen. And it was based about asking the customer qualifying questions, making sure you got the customer exactly what they needed and exactly what they wanted, and be able to fully understand your customer. And that was the first and foremost. Get to know the customer, build rapport, learn what they need, ask them questions, and following that process correctly really, really helped. And I'll give you an example. One day I went and I was picking up something for my store from a different store. We would often transfer products between stores to figure out, I think it was an iPod or something. But I went to one of the main stores that was on a promenade, and this store was the number 1 sales store in the district, primarily because it had the most foot traffic of any other store. It was a massive store in a massively busy area. They had a lot of traffic. I walked in there, and I was the assistant manager. I was talking to that store's assistant manager, and a customer walked up and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have to take care of the customer first." So that's always a good sign. You need to always take care of your customers first instead of talking to another manager. The customer was a little old lady. She wanted a radio to listen to. And so he very politely asked her what type of radio she was looking for. It's like, "You're just looking for a little handheld radio?" "Yep, okay, over here. Here's handheld radios. Here you go. You have a nice day." And he was so polite, and she was happy, and he was happy. He made the sale, and she left. He turned to me and said, "You see, that's why I'm the #1 assistant manager in the district." I smiled and I go, "Oh, that was impressive." He was very nice. He was very polite. He was very professional. He took really good care of her. He did ask her some questions to make sure he got her the right product. However, he didn't follow our full process and offer on the add-ons that would go with that would make it more valuable for the customer. Things like headphones, batteries. That was the number one thing. He forgot to offer her batteries to battery-powered radio. That's just silly. But a little bit later on, or before that, I can't remember, I had a similar situation. I had a little old lady come into my store. And I used the process. I talked to her, said hi, got to know her, and she goes, "I just want a radio." So instead of saying, "Oh, what type of radio?" I asked her, "What are you using it for?" A little bit about the same question, but a little bit different, a little qualifying question. "What are you going to use it for?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm going to be listening to it at the rodeo. I want to be able to know how the Broncos are doing in the upcoming game." Most people in Denver are Broncos fans, even if they don't follow football in general. "I really want to know if we're going to win the game, but I have to go to the rodeo with my husband." "Oh, okay, cool. So you're going to the game, you're going to be listening to it. It's going to be noisy at the rodeo, right?" "Oh, yeah, it's really, really loud. Do you have any good pair of noise-canceling headphones to wear so you can actually hear it?" She goes, "Yeah, I do. I have some Bose noise-canceling headphones," which are amazing headphones, by the way. And so I asked her, "Oh, you mean those really, really big, chunky ones that really cover your ears, like giant earmuffs?" "Oh, yeah, those." "Are you really wanting to take those and have those on your head at the rodeo so everyone knows you're not paying attention to the rodeo?" "No." I'm like, "Well, I have some noise-canceling headphones over here. They're in-ear noise-canceling headphones. They use frequency modulation to cancel out the noise, whatever. And they're $99. "Okay, I'll get that." Then I said, "Of course you're going to need some batteries for your radio. The most common battery is AA. And right now we have a sale right now. Our 40-pack of batteries is normally $30. We have it on sale for $20 for 40 batteries. Good deal. Whatever. I can't remember the exact price." "Oh, sure. That sounds great." Because I use AA's all the time. But then with the headphones, I use AAA's. So I'm like, okay, our next best deal is 4 packs for $5 or whatever. You can pick and choose. So she got 4 packs of AAA's. She was so pleased, so happy, and she walked out with her radio, which is the same radio the other guy sold the lady, her headphones, batteries for the headphones, batteries for the radio. Pretty simple. But the other guy sold just the radio, which was $20. I sold a $20 radio, a $100 pair of headphones, and I remember now it was $30 worth of battery. 4 packs for $10, and a 40-pack for $20. So she bought from me, let's see, $20 plus $20, $40, $170. I'm horrible at math, but around $170 instead of selling for $20. The lady was happy. I just followed our sales process. Ask qualifying questions. Find details. ask her what she would like, what type of things are you using, make suggestions, try to find what she really needs, all this stuff, and then offer on add-ons in a friendly way that makes the sale better, adds more value, and if they find value, they'll buy it. I wasn't pushy at all. I just said, hey, would you like to try these? These do noise canceling. This could solve your problem better. Just looking into it, following the sales process. I sold a lot of stuff following that sales process. Oh, you want an iPod? Great. What are you using it for? Oh, you're going to be driving it. Well, you'll probably want to get a car charger with it, and you'll probably want a adapter so you can play it over your car radio, right? Cool. And you like a case to cover it? Yes. Would you like a mount for your car? Yes. Following the sales process, get to know them, offer accessories, show them the value, figure out what exactly they want, ask them what they're using it for, and follow through. Just very simple, basic stuff. But it was a great sales process. And they had it written down. I wish I could find, I had it written out on a card. I can't seem to find it online. But it was a step-by-step sales process. And if you follow that, your sales will go up every time. Very, very well done, very, very logical, taught very well, implemented very well. Now, they started deviating off of that process and changing things up a little bit and changing it to focus more towards cell phones, etc. And it still worked, but people stopped liking getting pushed into sales for cell phones. That was another story altogether. But I did like their sales training, their sales process. I did like their customer service training. I liked their training so you could speak with knowledge. When you said, well, if you would like this security system, this is what it can do. This GPS system, this is what it's capable of, and actually understand and know your product, always a good thing, to sell. So very good training on that end. The other training I found very valuable from Radio Shack was their hiring training. How to hire a person. How to ask questions, what type of questions you're looking for, what type of answers are real, what type are fake, what type of questions are not the questions but the answers. For example, what is your worst quality? Oh, my worst quality is I just can't quit working. Ha 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 ha. No. Yeah, you can use that. You want to switch it up to make it sound positive, of course, in a job interview. But they're just things like you could just sense, you could detect that it wasn't really them, how you could cut through the crap and find out who the person really was. It was very thorough training. They made sure to cover all the legalities, which I've forgotten most of because they're very specific to Denver, Colorado. What you could say on a job interview, what you couldn't say on a job interview, what questions you could ask, what questions you couldn't ask. For example, you could not ask their age. You can't ask them when they were born. You can ask things like this job requires you to possibly sell something where that requires them to be 18. You have to be over 18 to do this thing. Are you over 18? You can do that. But it was very careful, very thought out, very good hiring training. The management training was pretty thorough as well. And a lot of that rested on the shoulders of the manager, of course. But I found the training was really well done. And if they could have, in my opinion, if they could have built on the training and did things like cut down the number of stores, not take out the loans, all those things I talked about that really hurt them as a company, I think they had some really core good stuff that they could have built on. And as a matter of fact, there are still Radio Shacks around. There's another company that owns them. Fittingly enough, a hobby store to make and build stuff, which is where Radio Shack really fits. And they're doing better, a little bit better from what I've heard bits and pieces of. And I think if they can get back to the core hobbyist, inventor, student types that need to go get things to fix, moms with science projects for the kids, that sort of thing, and they follow the processes that they developed and built on, they might be able to make a comeback. They might be able to do it. There is a market for that type of thing. It's a smaller market, but it's still there. And again, if you go to a place where you feel like they care about you, where They have good knowledge where they're asking questions. They're not just handing you whatever. They're making sure you don't accidentally burn down your kid's room. Yeah, that was another thing. We were taught how to find the right product in power cords and batteries that fit the thing. And I'll come back to this, but when people can trust that they're getting good advice and you're taking good care of them, they'll come back and you'll have more and more repeat customers. And I think they can do that. Now, on that was the other thing. We were trained on how to make sure if someone came in with a power cord issue, they needed a new power cord or something, then we learned how to pick and find the right power cord, put in the right polarity, the right voltage, the right amperage. We understood all this. We learned how to do it, which is so important because little things like this are important. This lady came in. She goes, I don't know what's wrong. This one I bought at Walmart. It fit and it worked, but then I walked in. I smelled something burning. I looked around, and this was melted, and I unplugged it right away. It was really, really hot. And she handed me the little power cord for the DVD player she had. She brought the DVD player. And the power cord had nearly melted in completely on itself. It looked really bad. It smelled bad too. It was really dangerous. It was very close to catching fire. It was really bad. And I looked at it, and this power cord had the right tip. It was the right polarity. It was the right voltage, 12 volt or whatever, 9 volt, whatever. I think it was 12 volts. But the problem was the guy at the Walmart where she bought it from had no clue. It's like, oh, this one fits, and this is the right voltage. He didn't know, because he wasn't fully trained, about amperage. I know most people don't know what amperage is, but I'm a little tired. I can't remember which is which. The voltage is how much, and the amperage is how strong the current is. The voltage is how strong, I think, and the amperage is how much. So think of it as a river. One of them is how fast the river is flowing. Another one is how much water's in the river. And a amperage is very, very important. A lot of amps are much more dangerous than a lot of volts. So I think voltage is how much, amperage is how fast. Anyway, point being is this power supply they got her was registered at 0.3 amps, 300 milliamps. So only 0.3 amps. The DVD player required something like 5 full amps, which is an incredibly high amount of amperage in comparison to 0.3 amps. So it was trying to draw so much power through that tiny little thing, it was melting it because it couldn't handle it. It wasn't built for it. So I made a good customer for life because, she went to Walmart and they had no clue what they're talking about, and they gave her the wrong item, which was very, very dangerous. She came to us, we knew what we were talking about, we were able to fix it, we were able to get her the right product to make it work and take care of the customer and give her something that was safe. So again, learning to ask questions, knowing your product, learning about every product you have, how it works, how it functions, how to make it work with what it does. That sort of thing was really, really important, and that's what kept my little store that was working with our little team. We did so well because we knew our product so well. Another thing we did with our team, and not every team did this, but our manager managed to get it too, we took such good care of each other. We were on commission, but we each had our specialties. For example, one guy really loved GPS and tried all the GPSs and knew everything about GPS. I knew a little bit, but not as much as him. But I knew everything about the police scanners. I knew how to program, upload them, get them up and running. So a guy came into him and said, hey, I'm looking for a police scanner. And he would just give it to me, and I would just take the police scanner. And that would be a $300 or $400 sell, so that would be a big sell for me. But then when someone came in and asked about GPS, I would give it to this guy because he knew all about GPS, and so he would take over the GPS. We all worked together as a team. So in that store, we did really, really well working together as a team. We learned teamwork. We learned how to train. I learned how to train employees. They had a lot of high quality training. They did have a lot of quality systems in place for sales, for training, for taking care of customers. And they did blow it and they did lose the edge. But that's the type of thing where if you can get everything else right, if you don't have this type of customer service and sales team and everything else is good, you still might not do good. But if you have this and everything else is right, your focus is right, your target market is right, you're trying to play to your customer base, your strengths, then this sort of thing will carry you on. So anyway, with that, Radio Shack was not all bad. They did have some great strengths, great things we can learn about training, about sales techniques, about how to take care of customers. That was some incredibly strong strength that Radio Shack had when they were at their peak that kind of faded away. Anyway, there's some good sales tips in there. I just didn't want to leave it as, oh, I hate Radio Shack. I never did hate Radio Shack. I was a little bit saddened by the way things went, but I never hated them. They were a good company. I loved them growing up. My uncle worked for them for years and years and years growing up. They used to be a great company. They made some mistakes, and I do hope they come back. So, yeah, there's some positive stuff about Radio Shack. There's some sales technique training in there. I'll probably go back and hit that a little bit later. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Remember to get your free half-hour consultation by using our contact page and the links below. If you found value in this content, please give us a 5-star rating on whichever podcast platform you use. It is very helpful if you share this with your friends. If you'd like to directly support this podcast, I have a few donation links in the description, or you can check out the show sponsors. You have been listening to the O'Connor Bootstrap podcast, which is an Atheoz Business Solutions podcast. Our companion podcast, the Atheoz Business Podcast, which is hosted by Jason St. Clair. Our past episodes and related blogs, you can check out our website at www.atheoz.com, which is www.atheoz.com or atheoz.com. Remember, you can also check us out on the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast Facebook group, where you can interact with me and other people who are bootstrappers and entrepreneurs. The link is in the description. Come check us out. I would love to interact with you. And until next time, I'm your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor. See you later.